Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Charles Knuffke, and I'm here to talk about the DLM campus-wide pod. So when we introduced DLM 6 years ago, we really focused on making sure everybody understood that inside the room, our DLM controls were the best possible controls. The room controllers for the lights, plug load controllers, occupancy sensors, photocells, switches, and dimmers. So we've got the room pretty much covered, and we ensure that with DLM, right when you connect the products together, they'll automatically work in the most energy efficient way possible. So some people though don't understand that you can take that individual room and scale that up to be able to control an entire campus of buildings with multiple rooms throughout. So we put this graphic together and really to try to illustrate the fact that if you want to understand any lighting control system, one of the ways to look at it is, how do I get information from the room to a quadrant of rooms, to the floor, to the building, all the way up to an entire campus environment. So with us, what we do is we go from the room using MSTP wire that communicates BACnet to the rooms, and then from there, we go to Ethernet to communicate to the building and to the entire campus. So the reason that's important is that that's bi-directional communication. So one thing that you can do is you can take information from the campus level and now bring it down to the individual rooms. Things like being able to change the sequence of operations. Something like, I've got all my occupancy sensors turning on automatically when people walk in the space. I'd like to save a little more energy by maybe making it so when they walk in the space, somebody has to hit a switch or a dimmer in order to get the lights on. The second part of that equation though is, I've got a lot of information that's in the room that's really valuable. So things like whether or not the room's occupied, what the power usage is inside the room, light level of the photocell. So I want to be able to bring that information up to the campus, and I want to be able to send that sequence of operations, schedules, and events all the way down to the individual rooms. So what we're showing here is that in addition to those devices, we've also got a couple of interface devices so that you can communicate via an AV system or a contact closure. And what's really big for us this year is the fact that we're introducing a wireless bridge. So in addition to a border router that communicates wirelessly via IPv6 open protocols, we can now have communication between the rooms without having to have a wire run. Once you get to the border router, you're still going to use Ethernet to connect up to the building or connect up to the campus, but this makes it a lot easier to get your network going right there at the beginning. So as an example of some of the data that's really valuable, if we take a look over at our segment manager interface, here you can see information for each one of the rooms. We're showing what the power usage is for each room, and then for each room we've also added one other field, which is what the square footage. So we not only see the total power, we see the watts per square foot. So here we can gauge exactly how efficient any one room is against any other. So I'm Charles Knuffke, and thank you very much for joining me at the DLM Campus-Wide Pod.